Okay, so today we're in section 14.2. Now we're learning another method of solving systems of equations. We actually introduced this method on Friday, okay? So method number 1 was graphing. I look where the lines intersect. Method number 2 is substitution. With substitution, here's what makes this an appealing method. If x or y is easy to get by itself on one side of the equation, okay? All right, so I look at the first example, all right? Do you notice that the first equation already has y solved for? Do you guys see that? So it's in slope-intercept, right? Okay, so what I can do is I can say, well, if y equals 2x minus 4, then I can plug that expression in for y on the other equation, okay? So I'm going to take the 2x minus 4, and I'm going to plug it in for y on the other one, all right? So I'm just going to rewrite the second equation. 7x minus 2. Now, instead of the y, I'm going to plug in what y equaled on the first equation. So I'm going to plug in 2x minus 4. Now I bring down the rest of that second equation. That's where the equals 5 came from. I just pull that down. All right, so now I can solve this equation because I only have one variable now in my equation. Okay, so 7x, what's negative 2 times 2x? I'm going to distribute now. What is it? Negative 4x. And what's negative 2 times negative 4? Positive 8. Okay, all right, now, is there anything that you see that you could combine on the left side?
7x minus 4.
To get 3x plus 8 equals 5. All right, so now we're kind of on the home stretch now. I need to solve for x. What is my next step? Somebody raise your hand and tell me. What is the next step here? Lily?
Subtract 8.
Yes, subtract 8 from both sides. And I get 3x equals negative 3. All right, divide both sides by 3. Make sure you guys are doing these steps with me. And x equals negative 1. X equals negative 1. So now I know half of my solution. Now I have a choice. I need to go back now to my original system, and I need to solve for y. So you want to plug your value for x back in where it would be easiest to solve for y. So you could plug x back into the second equation. But do you agree that's going to be kind of complicated, right? You're going to plug that in, then you got to move it to the other side, then you have to divide. If you use the first equation, it's much simpler. Y equals 2. Now plug in the value for x. What value did you get? Times negative 1 minus 4. What's 2 times negative 1? Negative 2. And what's negative 2 minus 4? Negative 6. So now you have your solution. You put the x and the y value together. Negative 1, negative 6. And this is your solution. Okay, now I need to tell you something else. If you would have graphed this system, guess where they would cross? Guess where they would cross? Negative 1, negative 6. Okay? So if you had decided, no, instead of doing substitution, I'm just going to graph this system, you would have had the lines cross at the exact same place. Okay? All right, now let's look at this next one. Okay? What do you guys notice that is different about the next system of equations? What do you guys notice?
You already know what x is.
It gives me x equals. Okay, so what do you think you're going to do with x equals the 5y plus 3? What do you think you're going to do? Plug it in for x on the other equation. That's the substitution. If x equals 5y plus 3, I can plug it in for x on the other equation. Now I need you to rewrite the equation. 2. Now instead of the x, what would I plug in, Lucas? Instead of x, what am I plugging in for x? That is exactly right. 5y plus 3. Now what do I bring down? Say it with me. Plus 4y equals negative 1. Okay? So I just bring down the rest of that second equation. What do you guys think I need to do now? What do I need to do now? Distribute. Very good. 2 times 5y and 2 times positive 3. What's 2 times 5y? 10y. What's 2 times 3? 6. Plus, now bring everything else down, 4y equals negative 1. Okay. What do I do next? Kaylee? What do I do next? Very good. 10y plus 4y is 14y plus 6 equals negative 1. All right. Now what do I do? Talk to me, guys. What do I do now?
Subtract 6 from negative 1.
Subtract 6 from both sides. And 14y equals negative 7. All right, be careful on this. What do I divide by to solve for y? 14. Divide by 14. So y equals, reduce the fraction. What does y equal, guys?
Negative 1.
Yes, negative 1 over 2. Okay? So now you're plugging a fraction back in. Not a huge deal, okay? But we're going to plug a fraction back in. So now we have 5. So x equals 5 times negative 1/2 plus 3. All right? Now, multiplying something by half is not a big deal because you're just taking what? You're taking half of it. So what is half of 5? What's half of 5?
3.
Not 3.5, but 2.5. 2.5. Now, if you need to divide that, you just do a quick 5 divided by 2 off to the side. Okay, 2 goes into 5 2 times. All right, 10. So 2.5. 2 goes into 10 5 times. So x equals negative 2.5 plus 3. Okay, so what's negative 2.5 plus 3? Okay,
1.5.
yeah, not 1.5, but just 0.5. Again, if you want to do this by hand, you would subtract the numbers, 3.0 minus 2.5, borrow your 2, you get 0.5. The 3 was bigger and it's positive, so this part is review, okay, from what we learned earlier this year. X equals 0.5, all right? Now we put that together, 0.5 and negative 0.5, or if you said 1/2 over 1/2, it's totally fine. Okay, now that's about as difficult as you're going to see it, and I'll be honest with you, you don't have decimals on your test, okay, but just in case it shows up on your homework, it's the same process. Okay, all right, we gotta do a lot of practice today. Okay, so I've done 2 for you. All right, now I want you to try to get the substitution. So we have x equals 4y, and then x plus 4y equals negative 8. So I want you to go ahead and see if you can get the substitution part. I call it like breaking the ice, right? So if I can get through the substitution, then the rest of it kind of tends to flow a little smoother. All right, so x equals 4y. Where did you plug in the 4y? Where'd you guys plug that in? Did y'all plug it in for x on the other one? Okay, so now I have 4y plus 4y equals negative 8. What do I do next? Talk to me. What do I do next?
Add 4y.
Yes, 8y equals negative 8.
Divide by 8.
Yeah, divide both sides by 8, and y equals what?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. But that's only half of my answer. Nate, what would I do next? Very good. I plug it back in for y in my first equation. So x equals 4 times negative 1. Well, what's 4 times negative 1? Negative 4. So x equals negative 4. Now put them together in one ordered pair. Negative 4, negative 1. Okay, that's my answer. So if I were graphing this system, where would my lines be crossing? They would cross at negative 4 down 1 if I were to graph this. So this is just another method for solving the same systems of equations. It's another way that I can get to my answer. All right, what do you guys notice that's different about this next one? What do you guys notice here? What do y'all notice? They're both y equals. So what I want you to see is this. Could I plug in x minus 8 for the second y? Could I do that? But look at this. I could also plug in 2x minus 14 in for the first y. So here's what I'm doing. If both equations are y equals, all I'm doing is taking the two expressions and putting them equal to each other. Okay? So let's just kind of stay with the same pattern. Let's plug in x minus 8 for the second equation. So x minus 8 equals 2x minus 14. We did one of these on Friday. Now, I have variables on both sides of my equation. Which one do I move to the other side? Which one do I move? The lesser value. So do you agree that 1x is less than 2x? So I subtract that to the right side. Okay? Now let's bring everything down. Negative 8 equals x minus 14. All right, so what do you do now? How do you get x by itself? How do you solve for x? Yes, do the opposite. You need to add 14 to both sides. Negative 8 plus 14 is positive 6. X equals 6. What do I do now? What do I do with that information?
You plug it in the first equation.
Okay. All right, so plug it back in for x, and y equals 6 minus 8. All right, what's 6 minus 8, guys? Y equals negative 2. All right, so 6 and negative 2. That's my solution. All right, how'd you guys do on that? Did pretty good? Okay, so example 2 is the exact same thing. Okay, so we're gonna kind of keep going on this. All right, I do want to go to this one. So we did skip one, all right? Does everybody see this equation? X plus 4y equals 14, 3x plus 4y equals 22. What do you notice that is different about this system? What's different? Talk to me.
None of them are
Okay, neither equation is solved for x or y. Do you guys see that? So now I want to look for either x or y to be by itself, okay? Meaning, which equation would be easier to solve for x or y?
the first one.
Yes, the first one, because my x is already by itself, so what's the only operation I have to do? I have to, how do I get 4y to the other side? I just,
divide.
not divide,
I mean, you.
I subtract, okay? So if I subtract, just gonna write it on top. If I subtract 4y, do you agree that cancels? And if I subtract 4y here, now I have x equals negative 4y plus 14. Okay, do you guys see how I did that? If there was a number connected with x, I'd have to do another step now. So this was my easiest way to get one of them by itself. Now, what do I do with this?
You divide.
Plug it in for x. Okay? All right, now see if you can finish solving. Okay, so negative 4y plus 14. So you're going to plug this in for x. So 3 times negative 4y plus 14 plus 4y equals 22. Okay, so now what do I do next? Negative 12y minus 42. Did you guys get that?
It's plus.
Okay.
It's plus.
It's plus. Yep, you're right. You're right. The first one's negative. Plus 4y equals 22. Okay, so what's negative 12y plus 4y? You got to get this.
Negative 8
Negative 8y plus 42 equals 22. Oh, goodness. This one's a decimal, too.
Yeah.
Okay, subtract 42.
Negative.
Okay, negative 8y equals negative 20. Divide by negative 8.
Y equals 2.5.
Y equals 2.5. Again, guys, this is about as hard as you'll see them, okay? All right, so now, did you go back and plug it in for y back in the original problem? Okay, so x equals negative 4 times positive 2.5 plus 14. All right, so what's negative 4 times 2.5? Negative what? Think about quarters, right? 4 quarters.
Oh.
Negative 10.
Yeah.
2.5 times 2 is 5, so 2.5 times 4 is 10. Negative 10 plus 14 gives me 4. All right, so my solution is 4 and 2.5. Okay. All right, how'd you guys do? How'd you guys do?
Good.
All right, 4 and 2.5. All right, we're going to do one more problem. Well, let's answer this question. We've already talked about it. Does solving a system by linear equations by graphing give you the same solution as substitution? Yes. Yes. If you were to graph it and substitute it, you would have the same exact solution. It's just which method is easier given the way that system is written, okay? Which method would be easier to get to your answer? All right, modeling real life. You're planning a birthday party. Buy a total of 50 turkey burgers and veggie burgers for $90. You pay $2 per turkey burger and $1.50 per veggie burger. How many of each burger do you buy? Okay, so you need to decide, and it doesn't matter. Turkey burgers and veggie burgers, one has to be X and one has to be Y. Okay, so we're just going to go in order. Turkey burgers, those are going to be my X, and veggie burgers are going to be my Y. Okay, so X plus Y equals 50. All right, I don't know how many yet, but I know that X plus Y is going to give me 50, which is my total. Then I also know how much was each turkey burger. How much was each turkey burger? Read the next.
Oh, $2.
$2. So 2X plus how much was each veggie burger? 1.5Y equals how much money did they spend? 90. Okay, so a couple things. How did I know 90 goes on the second equation? Because 90 was dollars, and that's what this was describing too. $2 per turkey burger and $1.50 per veggie burger.
90 is the total.
90 is the total, okay? So now you have your system, all right? Now, probably substitution is the best way, especially because I don't want to have to set up my own graph. It's not going to matter which one you solve for, X or Y. You can solve for either one. So let's just say I'm going to solve for X. What do I need to do to get Y to cancel to the other side?
-1 on both sides.
Yes, okay, so let's minus Y from 50, okay? So now I have X equals negative 1Y, let's just put the 1 there, plus 50. All right, what do I do with that? Substitute. Take it and plug it in for X on the second one. So 2 times negative 1Y plus 50 plus 1.5Y equals 90. All right, you guys need to catch up a little bit. Okay, what's 2 times negative 1Y? Negative 2Y. What's 2 times 50? 100. All right, plus 1.5Y equals 90. All right, we're almost done. What's negative 2 plus 1.5?
Negative 0.0.
Okay, yep. Negative 0.5Y plus 100 equals 90. We're almost done, guys. Almost done. What do I do next?
Subtract 100.
Yes, subtract 100. Just keep following the steps. All right? That's why the steps are so important, because now that I'm looking at equations this difficult, now I have a process I can follow. So negative 0.5Y equals negative 10. One more step. What do I do? Divide by negative 0.5.
5?
Nope. Okay, you can use your calculators. What's 10 divided by 0.5? Yes, positive 20. Okay, so Y equals 20. All right, plug it back in. What's negative 1 times 20? Negative 20. What's negative 20 plus 50? No, negative 20 plus 50. 30. So X equals 30. Y equals 20. Does that equal my total number of burgers? 30 and 20? So I have 30 turkey burgers and 20 veggie burgers. All right. Now, I don't want you guys to think, oh my goodness, I have to take a test on this, right? Like after only seeing this one time. So today's Monday. You don't have a quiz until Friday. All right, so we have plenty of time to work on these modeling real life questions. All right, so don't worry about it too much. I do want to go ahead and stop here, and then we'll look at the homework.